everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another pregnancy update, and this week we are talking about week 33 and week 34. All the symptoms, all the exciting stuff, things have really started to ramp up in these next couple of weeks. So if you're interested in seeing what's happened, then just keep on watching. So let's start with week 33. Just painful week 33. I just think the body is fully preparing now. So I have been suffering with similar symptoms to what I have been over the last few weeks anyway, but the lightning crotch has ramped up. And if any of you don't really know what lightning crotch is, you're lucky. That's all I'll say is you're lucky. It feels like a stabbing knife pain up your bits, and it stops you in your tracks, and yeah, it's just so painful. But it's just where the head is low and pressing on all the nerves. And some people think that lightning crotch is to do with your dilation, so that you could start dilating a little bit, but I don't know how much of that is true, so don't quote me on it. It's just what I've read over the time. But yeah, the lightning crotch has really ramped up. By the way, if I look down, I'm just looking at my little notes here. Another symptom I've had this week is wind. Just a lot of wind. Like, I don't know, again, I think it's just the pressure, because I'm getting a lot of backache, as you guys know, and I think just the pressure down there, because as the baby's head is moving lower, it's pressing on your rectum and on the nerves, and I think it's just causing me with a bit of wind. And yeah, so that's embarrassing, but you know, we're here for all the giggles, so that's fine. But yeah, sorry Dan. So girls, if you're suffering with the wind, it's fine, don't worry about it. And then also, very exciting, painful but exciting, so I had some crazy Braxton Hicks this week, like crazy Braxton Hicks. So I think it was, I can't remember what day it was, but it was a morning, and I was getting ready, and first of all I was downstairs just washing up, and I felt these intense period pains. So for you guys who don't know, Braxton Hicks are just practice contractions, but they feel like a contraction, but obviously they do not continue, and they don't get like closer together, or they're not regular, so that's how you know they're Braxtons. And also they're less painful than a real contraction, but still these are painful. So yeah, it's just like a massive tightening of the whole tummy from the top to the bottom. And yeah, it took my breath away a little bit. It was happening for about an hour. I did actually start to time them, because I was a bit like, oh, is this happening? I did also ring Dan, not to like think I was in labour, but just to give him the heads up that these sort of things are happening, and to make sure he keeps his phone on loud, because you never know, basically. So, but yeah, so that was happening for about an hour and a half. Yeah, very intense period pains. Sometimes even like stopped me in my tracks, like I had to like take a breath and have a moment. But then it passed, and that was that. So, but again, it's just all these things that the body is prepping for labour and getting you on your toes ready for it. That same day, I had my first visit from my health visitor, so that was really lovely. You receive a letter in the post with a date that your health visitor can come over and meet you, and yeah, you can rearrange it of course, but it's just somebody local, just a local health visitor who comes over, and she was really, really lovely. And they basically come in just to make sure everything's okay, home is okay, you're okay, your support network is there, and they're basically there to advise you and give you advice if some of that support wasn't there, and what you can do to have support afterwards. But also things like she provided me with a lot of tips on the lullaby scheme, which is like safety sleeping for your babies. And also she talked to me a lot about like the local areas that run like clubs and stuff for little babies, and for you as a mum to go out and socialise with people, so you don't feel like you have to stay in, because being your first time mum or a second time, whatever time mum, it could be pretty lonely apparently. So they kind of just come around to do that, and then I now won't see her until I've had the baby. They come around 10 days to 2 weeks once baby has been born, and then I think it's like 6 months and a year, then 2 years, but they are there to be called on. So if you feel like you need your health visitor, call them. That is not just they come as and when, that you're allowed to call on them for support. So that was really exciting. So another exciting thing was that we had our hospital tour this week. Very exciting. Some people don't bother with hospital tours, and I understand that if you're on your second or third or fourth baby and you've been to this hospital, I get it. But for me, I really wanted to go and see where I'm going to be having my baby. Plans kind of originally changed, as I would have liked to have gone somewhere else to start with, but that unit is currently closed at the moment, so I am going to the main hospital. But I was very happy and settled with the tour in regards of it filled me with a lot of information and excitement. Really, it was a complete opposite to what I expected. So in the hospital that I'm going to, you've got your central delivery suite, which is where it's mainly like midwife and obviously doctor led, so anything from gas and air to epidural to C-section, like, is all dealt with on that little unit. Theatre is obviously right there, and if you're a higher risk pregnancy and stuff like that, just down the corridor, you have we have a place called the Mendip Centre, which is basically more of a midwifery led unit. So this is where there's a lot of the water births and aromatherapy and hypnobirthing, and also like gas and air as well. But it's quite nice because obviously if you want to go for that option, that's lovely, but at the same time, if things were to go a little bit wrong or not how you had envisioned, you can get wheeled up the corridor and either have your C-section or epidural or whatever equipment is needed to help you and your baby. You're in the right place. But yeah, it just filled me with a lot of security, and I was a lot happier, as was Dan. Like, to know when this happens, we know exactly where we're going, what entrance to go into, how to deal with parking, what the rooms look like, what's expected. It's not like we're completely oblivious and have no idea and it's alien to us. So if you are a first time mum, I highly recommend doing your hospital tour. It's free, it's on a weekend, you can book it in the morning, have the rest of your day. It literally takes like 20 minutes, half an hour. And we saw some tiny little newborn babies as well, like in the family rooms, and they showed us where the NICU centre was. Obviously we didn't go in there, but it's just nice to know where everything was, and within literally corridors away from each other, you just felt like everything was where it should be, and you felt safe and settled in that respect. So that was very exciting, and we are very happy to be with our decision there now. Just got to write the birth plan now. God, it's scary. And then the last thing really on week 33 is that I'm struggling to drive now. The bump is getting to a point where it's so big, and where it's got lower, is knocking on the steering wheel slightly, and the seatbelt situation. But where I'm only 5 foot tall, I can't push the chair back too far because otherwise I can't touch the pedals. So I'm having to like lean the chair back, so I'm like leaning in the car. It's just a little bit uncomfortable driving now, to try and turn around and checking your blind spots. I mean, it's not ideal, so I doubt I'll be doing much of it for much longer. But yeah, that's kind of it for week 33. Nothing's really changed. Sleeping's still a little bit of a hassle, but that's fine. I'm getting used to that now. And it's been a bit painful, but also very exciting at the same time. I'll bump out week 33 now, and then I will go on it and read to you about baby. By 33 weeks of pregnancy, the baby's brain and nervous system are fully developed. Your baby's bones are also continuing to harden. Apart from the skull bones, these will stay soft and separate until the birth to make the journey through the birth canal easier. Interesting. The bones can move gently and slide over each other so that the head can be born safely while still protecting the brain. You need to slow down because the extra weight will make you tired, and if you haven't done already, it's likely you will start to suffer from backache. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? So first of all, week 34, 6 weeks to go. Could be less, could be more, but 6 weeks to go. I mean, that's your school summer holidays. Like, we all know how quick that time went when the summer was over and you had to go back to school. I mean, it flew by. And now I only have that time until this baby could be here, potentially before or after. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, so week 34 started off with a midwife appointment. It was actually somewhere different than where I normally go, but it was quite nice to see someone different and, you know, just how people do things differently. I find midwife appointment really lovely. They're very simple in a way. I know obviously they're checking everything, but, you know, you have your blood pressure taken and you have your urine tested, and it's just nice to have a little chat and just make sure everything's okay. But with this one, with this one, I actually found out baby's position, which is very exciting. So the midwife told me that baby is head down, engaged, which is why I'm having all the pressure. But that also, the baby, let me just lower you so you can see a little bit. So baby is basically, legs are across here. We've got bum here, back all the way round, and then head is low down. So we're in a good position. We're in a good position for birthing, and I don't know if it's because my placenta's at the front that the back is more on the side than there, or it will move. I'm not too sure. I probably should have asked that. But yeah, so all on one side, all limbs on the other, and absolutely I could feel the baby pushing its bum up so much sometimes, and all the like little kicks and all the big movements I can definitely feel. So that was really, really nice to know actually whereabouts baby is positioned inside. And we also found out that we are measured just a week ahead this time rather than 2. So things are regulating. She actually spoke me through the growth chart, which I haven't had spoken through to me yet. So they dot on a chart where your baby's measuring, and mine's measuring perfectly. So, which is amazing. So even though sometimes it's measuring 2 weeks ahead, a week ahead on time, it's kind of just in the perfect bracket as such. It's not sort of losing too much weight or gaining too much weight in funny amounts of time. So that was really nice to know and be reassured in that situation. I was very tempted to ask that if I'm measuring ahead, does that mean baby's going to come early? We all know what the answer is going to be, so I didn't bother asking. But yeah, that would have been nice to know, to be honest. Also this week we had our second antenatal class, and that was our breastfeeding class. And actually, do you know what? I was even a bit like, how can anyone talk about breastfeeding for 2 hours? That I do not understand. I now fully understand why. Me and Dan thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so informative. It was amazing. Like, I literally cannot get over the female body. Even Dan is like, holy moly, boobs are amazing. Not for their own reasoning, but actually to provide for your baby, and they know exactly how much milk your baby needs, when your baby needs. It's just magical. It's incredible. And all the antibodies and the protection towards your baby. We got shown how to try and latch baby on, what are the correct positions, the support needed, what the dads can do to help support because you are taking on such a big role. And it was just amazing. And I'm gutted that people don't do it more, really, through having that class. Like, even if I wasn't thinking about breastfeeding, which I very much am, it would have massively inspired me to do it, because I just don't know how you couldn't want to after hearing how incredible your boobs actually are for your baby. And that bond as well is just amazing. And it's free, and you don't have to get out of bed at night. I'm just saying. But also, very understandably, I understand that people can't get on with it always. My mum didn't get on with it very well, and that's absolutely fine. But it's very highly recommended just to try and do it in the first couple of days. If it doesn't work, but at least you're giving your baby that most important milk, which is the colostrum milk, something like that. It's like gold dust basically for the baby. It's amazing. But yeah, so that was really good, and it was fun, and we had a laugh, and they had like knitted boobs and dolls, and it was just all going on. But it wasn't embarrassing, it wasn't cringy, and it was so nice that every single dad was there as well. Like, it was very much, I know it can be about the mums, but It was nice that all the dads were very supportive, and I highly recommend to all you first time mummies out there, or second time mums that didn't get on with breastfeeding the first time round, giving it a go again would be amazing. And to know you've got all the questions answered and the support, yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I'm just really, really glad that we went, and yeah, it was good fun. It was really, really good fun. So let's just talk about a few little symptoms. Restless legs this week has been the bane of my life. Like, it is not letting up. The lightning crotch has been better, the backache has been a bit better, but the restless legs are just something else. Like, painful, really, really painful. Like, even just turning around in bed, it's just like, oh, hassle. So I'm working a lot at the moment. I know I'm overdoing it, but I am coming up to mat leave, so I'm having to work a lot, and that pressure on my legs I know is not great with the extra weight I'm carrying around. But stretching and lifting my legs as much as possible is what I'm trying to do, and keeping very hydrated also. And also, I found my first stretch mark. I made it to 34 weeks without a stretch mark, but do you know what? It's right underneath the belly button. It's right at the lower part of the stomach. No one ever sees that part of my body, and do you know what? I could not care less. I probably would care a little bit more if it was like higher up maybe, and I was like nearly crying when I first found it. So dramatic. But actually, since going to the antenatal classes and actually just seeing what my body has done, I am so in awe of the female body and the way it changes to grow and home and nurture a tiny newborn little human being. Give me all the stretch marks. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's my honor stripe, then I'm happy to wear it and I'm proud to wear it. Why did I feel really emotional right then? Pregnancy hormones for you. I could have cried. But yeah, so I found my first stretch mark, and I'm totally okay with it. And to all you mums out there who've got stretch marks, and to all you mums who haven't, our bodies are amazing regardless, and they do what they've got to do for this little baby. So good on them. Good on them. Is that I'm still loving mango this week, and I've also started really enjoying pineapple, which I was a little bit worried about eating to start with, because I know some people say that they eat a lot of pineapple to help bring on labour. I don't really know how pineapple brings on labour, but that's fine. But yeah, I'm just loving all the fresh fruit. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very much like snacking and grazing on rubbish as well, but I mean, the fruit is doing it for me every single day, the mango. Although Dan is cussing me, because rather than just buying a whole mango, I'm buying the little pots from Tesco. And I know the value for money is probably rubbish, but I just can't be bothered to wait for the mango to go ripe to then try and cut it up. So yeah. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, it's very nice. But yeah, so I will flash up a picture of week 34 bump now, and then I'll go on and read to you about baby. So the baby's sleep patterns are now the same as they will be after the birth. Oh. With eyes open when awake and closed when baby is asleep. Limbs are plumping up and skin is becoming less wrinkled. From around now, you may be aware of your uterus tightening from time to time. These are known as Braxton Hicks contractions. And are your uterus practicing for the tightenings or contractions of labour? Amazing. They are a normal part of pregnancy. It's only when they become painful or frequent that you should contact your midwife or hospital. So that is all from these last 2 weeks. If you enjoyed this video, then smash that thumbs up for me, and don't forget to hit subscribe before you go to carry on seeing the pregnancy updates. And I've also got some nice interesting videos coming up for you in regards of nursery tours and hospital bags and stuff like that. And then before you know it, it will all be about the little baby. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week with another pregnancy update. Bye guys.